Hi guys, beautiful day again. It's been raining a little, but it's still lovely out. Yeah, just a little bit of drizzle. So what I want to talk about here was, if you keep giving, people will keep taking. So, kind of didn't know how I was going to talk about this one, but I think it's something that's important. What I mean by that is, a lot of people think, oh, just give of yourself and, everything will follow. That's not the truth, and there's a lot of people out there who mock people who do. I've learned one really good skill, and that's to, never judge a book by its cover, as cliche as that sounds, but even more differently, you might get someone who, on first impressions, might seem a little bit off to you, it doesn't seem like your cup of tea. But then if you allow that moment to just pass, give the person a chance, guess what? You find you might have a good connection with them. If you just shut down with people a lot and judge them instantly, then you can miss out on a lot of valuable learnings, Like Suzanne Power, who I met last week, had the pleasure of meeting her. It was great, I mean that genuinely. But she can seem a little quacky at first, and look her up if you're looking for someone who just makes you feel more at ease with yourself. She was really good. She's just such a really gentle and kind soul, and genuine as well. She believes what she's doing, it's not for show. It's not bullshit, it's genuine. I believe it is anyway. Come on now, Elf, good boy. But she was talking about getting abused in her life, taken advantage of by people. Which is sad to say, but when you are kind, it does get used and abused a lot. They say kill them with kindness, and she said I wouldn't be someone who'd be great at dealing with confrontation. And look, I get that, I've had a lot. Well, yeah, don't walk under my feet, come on. I'm gonna go tumbling on my face one of these days. But lad, I don't think many people like confrontation unless you're a fucking psychopath or whatever, or you're capable of fighting. But if everyone liked fighting, then people who are good at fighting would kick the shit out of everyone every minute of every day, and they don't. So I think we all don't like it to a degree, but I noticed that it's not even that. You think, oh, I'm afraid of this person. Not even. I'm afraid sometimes of just starting a row and making a scene, which is unusual, but because I've noticed the person who I'm arguing with a lot of the times, they're not very threatening, they're not very intimidating. I think it's years of the adults in my life just basically not standing up for me and saying, you just have to take it because I don't want to deal with it. Taking other people's sides over mine. There's just an example that popped into my head of people pleasing. Like a lot of people don't appreciate me, say, after games, I'll mind their bags or stuff, and I'll say to them, oh, this lad was walking over, trying to take your bag or your boots or whatever, and I'd be minding it for them after a game. They wouldn't do it for me, because I've often lost stuff after games, and you've loads of bags and jerseys and whatever. And a lot of rugby coaches and whatever are useless at minding stuff for you. Like, they just shag something in the corner and forget about it. They couldn't care less. It's gone. And you're like, where the fuck did it go? But they weren't minding it for you because nobody cared. Whereas I'd be watching people's stuff and be like, oh right, yeah, here it is. I was minding that for you. It's not appreciated, it's not done back. So we went to Montpellier before, when I was playing for St Mary's in Temple Oak, just opposite Temple Oak College. And we had the fundraise now. so that we could go over, you know, people donating to help us go over and support our team. We weren't flush with cash, sadly, so couldn't just click our fingers and mummy and daddy would sort us out. So we did, we fundraised, and that was to save any additional costs, you know, so we didn't have to pay. The people who raised the most basically didn't have to pay for shit when they got there. And I was one of the people who raised the most, but a lot of help, in fairness, from my mum and my dad, especially my mum. She was always talking about me and my brother in work playing rugby, and as a result, lots of people chipped in and helped us out, so that was really nice of them. And then I did a bit of fundraising myself. But when we got there, you know, our coaches had done an arseways job of planning everything. Typical men. I know the women in the audience would be screaming. The audience, listen to me. But it was an arseways job, you know, everything was so badly organised. It was real off the cuff type of thing, and when we got there, we'd no way of getting to the wonderful Ibis hotel that we were staying at. And literally the place beside us looked like you know, a car park of a strip joint, like a strip club next to, you know, from GTA, the GTA 5 strip club, you know, with the old abandoned car park, some dodgy looking bouncer. Come on. Come on. Go. We stand in the middle of the road, Alf. But then we were all told we'd have to chip in money. I was like, why do I get the same punishment as lads who didn't bother their arse to fundraise? I have to pay more money as well. It's like, so what was the fucking point to be fundraising? You know, like loads of lads who didn't bother their arse getting out and actually raising any money. But we were all told we had to pay €20, you know, the same amount. And I was like, this is bullshit. I'm not paying that, because like, I nearly did, but I was like, I'm not doing that. I raised loads more money than these guys. And yet we're all getting the same payment. But after we played our game, we went out for the day and we were cycling down to the beach, so you could rent these bikes. And it was a bit weird now, I have to say, but the little company like leasing the bikes wanted a passport as confirmation, you know, as collateral damage basically. We all were dying to go to the beach. We all had bag loads of strong liquor in our bags, you know, loads of punch and vodka, and we managed to drink all of it pretty much, which swimming really cured the hangover. Come on, good boy. Well, let's have a look. Look at that. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? Good lad. But they wanted a passport, and I knew a few of the other lads had brought their passports. But they were all just, yeah, it's okay, good boy. We got across. Good lad. And loads of lads weren't giving it, you know, because they were kind of like, oh, well, I don't want to give it over. And they were like, oh, who has their passports? And I knew some of these guys had. And I was like, do you not have yours? And then they were like, oh, no, just give them yours. And I was like, I don't want it either. They were like, it'll be fine, it'll be grand. And I was like, I don't really feel comfortable doing this. But then they all start peer pressuring me, like going, oh, well, then we can't rent them and all. And I was like, why are none of these lads doing it? So then, like, I gave mine over to them. And then for the whole time, I was worried sick that they were going to steal it or keep it or whatever. And they gave it back and everything was fine, but, you know, they weren't dodgy. They were legit, but they didn't look very legit. You know, when you got a run down little shack in the arsehole of nowhere, you're kind of like, what the fuck is this? Nobody else was volunteering their passports, put it that way. But they were quick enough to volunteer me to do it, and I fucking did. Boy, you know, so they just kind of made me do it. And that happened a lot, you know, and I talked about it before, so I won't go into too much detail about the nights out with other lads and girls, but basically I ended up minding my boyfriend, no, my mate's girlfriend stuff. I was the one who was minding it, you know. I just basically got volunteered to do it and then look after them when they were, you know, leaving. And like, look, I got myself into some drunken stays where people had to mind me and get me into a taxi and whatever. Yeah, fair enough, but I often had to be the fucking caregiver to lads' girlfriends because they weren't looking after them, they didn't care, they were just minding themselves. And that led to a lot of young ones just using and abusing, you know. You take the stuff and mind it there, good lad, and we'll go off and do whatever we want. Using their feminine ways to get whatever the hell they wanted. And I'm not fucking doing it anymore, you know, it's bullshit. The more trainings I went to, as I said before as well, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but because I went to every single rugby training, lads who didn't were often taught like, oh yeah, sure, they don't have to. It was like, oh, but Dan will be there, so it's fine. I was like, I never said I'd be there. Everyone just assumed it, because it becomes habit, you know. Come on, Elf, they're not coming. You know, yeah. So that they would just kind of volunteer me forward and then put a lot of pressure on me if I didn't go, which I feel is so unfair, and I shouldn't have been put in that position. You could say I allowed myself to be, I get it, but you have to understand I was told all the ways of succeeding in sport, which is a complete fucking lie. It's bollocks. I was only watching a thing there about Real Madrid being spoiled little brats, you know, getting their own way all the time. Jude Bellingham swearing at a referee, Vinicius like not showing up. I heard about this a while ago now, but Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or, and deservedly so. Like, he's a holding midfielder. He won the Champions League final for City, Manchester City that is, and he won the European Cup with Spain. You know, what has Vinicius done recently anyway? I know Real Madrid have won loads of Champions Leagues, but Rodri's also done it at international duty. Whereas Brazil are shite now, you know. And winning the Copa America, that's not really anything to be boasting about. It's not nearly the same quality as the European Cup, you know. But they throw a tantrum, have a hissy fit, and they get their own way. I've seen it, you know. I know I'm getting a bit off topic, but you get told the ideal way, like have manners and be respectful, and that's a load of shit. It doesn't work. Now, because I'm a decent human being, I like to be mannerly. I hate coming across as an entitled little prick. But I've seen people certainly get rewarded for being entitled little pricks. Come on. It's a car. You've seen cars. What? Oh, what he does that, he backs into the road and then moves in the middle of the road when a car is coming sometimes. You like Seats? But I've seen people who do literally what you're always told not to do. Be a spoiled little shit, throwing your toys out with a pram, and you get what you want. And I saw it, like, even in amateur rugby teams that I played on, and it used to drive me fucking mental, because I was like, I'm putting in so much effort here, you're not, and you're just having a little moan and cry like I'm doing now. But it's a load of shite, you know. Basically what people are just creating is people pleasers, and they just keep expecting more and more from you, and then when you finally say no, they're like, oh, well, you don't get to say that. It's like, well, I fucking am, you know. I'll never go back into that situation ever again. I physically can't do it, as well as mentally, and I advise you never put yourself in that scenario. People pleasing will make you sick. Always trying to sort out everyone else's problems, but ignoring your own. But as you say, the point of this video is the more you give, the more people expect. They don't appreciate you until you're gone, basically. One sec. Yeah, they don't appreciate anything until it's gone. Yeah, let's have a look at this. That's a lovely day. Isn't that nice? It likes to feel. Isn't that nice, Elf? You know, like, as well in my own family I've seen it, because I used to actually do stuff for my granddad, and I finally, like, nobody was bothering their arse to look after the garden. it's a pretty good example, you know. I tend to not like to bring family into it, but I will, because fuck it, why not? But me and my brother have always talked about feeling inferior to the rest of our cousins on my dad's side, you know. Basically because it was pointed out that we were all overweight and the rest of our cousins were all slim, and you know, but I saw the hedge overgrown and falling over to one side. I saw the shed being in an awful state, and I just thought about my nanny, who I was very close to. Now that poor woman was traded, and I thought, this is her house. For her, I'd like it to look nice. Now my mum gives out to me all the time and says stuff like, oh, you can do stuff there but not here. So I fucking do. You'll see a short that I made on that Automower, the Automower 420. If anyone would like videos on that, actually, because I've learned a fair bit about that, if you have one and would like me to talk you through it. I'm not an expert, but I certainly know a few things, and I wouldn't mind showing you, save you the hassle, you know. I'm not going to break the yoke just to show you how to fix it, because it's a lot of hassle to fix, but oh, touch wood now. Oh, wait, there's a tree there. I'm going to touch that. Touch wood now, it doesn't break. God knows, it's great when it works. I was talking to a lad in Powers in Gorey, and they're great. Like, they're really good at fixing your stuff, but steel is what they typically go for. No, good boy. Bear's not home. Maybe he is, but he's not coming out. His best friend, the Yorkshire Terrier. Good lad. Mum. Good boy. Come on now. Go on, Mum. Up. Up. Good boy. Now we go down this way. Having the longer lead is so handy for him. Which means he can sniff around. Yeah, we go down this way. Good lad. Don't mind them. Good boy. But they say Husqvarna stuff is great when it's working. Problem is, it breaks so easily. But yeah, I've spent ages doing repairs on that, but I'm getting off topic, I know, sorry. But if that's something you'd like, I'll definitely show you, because it's a pain in the hole having to repair the yoke when you don't know what you're doing. I've no problem doing that whatsoever. I'll even put you in touch with people who know more if I can't help. But yeah, so I went down and I cut loads of overgrown hedges, so it wasn't flopping down, you know, because it was overgrown and falling into our side of the garden. The neighbours next door had done a good job on theirs, but our one wasn't looked after, you know. And it's funny how as soon as they're selling the house, you know, they all come in and do loads on it, except for my auntie, of course, who doesn't do anything unless it suits her, and always uses the excuse that she's out of the country, conveniently, you know. Never seen her clean that house once until I started doing something, and she was afraid that I was outshining her, which wouldn't be fucking hard, let me tell you. Here, stop for a sec, I'll let you. But yeah, it just really annoyed me that she starts basically going, I bought all these cleaning products, you can tell your dad that. It's like, what do you want the fucking applause for doing that, you know? She does nothing for no one unless there's something in it for her, and I've really seen that. But because I was cooking and cleaning and all for him, my granddad, even though I'm not very close with them, and I've heard a lot of people say the same thing, that their granddads are just distant and they never liked them, really, but they tolerated them, which is sad, really, but unfortunately that's how it is for me too. But I did the garden, which took me literally less than 5 minutes to mow the lawn, cut the grass, you know. But nobody bothered their arse to do that, because it didn't serve them to do it, you know. You see how that works. And I cut back all the hedges, and it's, oh, isn't he great? But then they go, isn't he great? Let's get him to do all this other stuff. Whereas my other cousins, none of them are expected to do it. Why? Because I gave and they just expected more. With your own family, it's upsetting, but it even happens with them, you know. People don't appreciate you until you're not there. They don't appreciate a good thing until it's gone. Anyway, guys, I'm not saying you never give yourself to anything, but certainly don't put yourself out there for someone who wouldn't do it for you, and go above and beyond for people who would just use and abuse you. Let them do something for you as well. Like, I know people who would do the same for me, and I would go above and beyond for those people. No problem, any day, you know, because I know they do the same for me if the shoe was on the other foot. So yeah, dé céadaoin chun a dit gach duine agus slán go fóill.